Hello, friends. Learning to think from two classes at a time. Oh gosh, you could always go back to one class at a time after you learn to do two, but you never will because you've revived how you're supposed to be. You're one with everybody on earth. Let's go to the next slide here. We'll begin. When I say two classes at a time, one class at a time objects you can point to. They don't need language to exist. They're the same in every language. Okay, because not long ago there were as many languages as there were humans on Earth, and all we had was our fingers. All right, and so that's the primary time. That's the parent time. Okay, our species had, we developed recorded history. You've seen this in the other videos. I've talked about it, and what happened is that these concepts of recorded history have overridden our object logic. It's very simple. Do not make gTime complicated. Thinking with two classes at a time is just tuning in to the objects and keeping the set as the child class. The concepts are the child class. Okay, so you always gotta, whatever that it is, here, let's go to this next one. Spotting internal lies. Well, we had language wrongly installed with us, inside of us. It wasn't based on physics, like a lot of thinking up there showed you. And so let's play with it a little bit. And my old friend George Orwell over here, he was beat up by society too. Anyway, this is from the Politics and the English Language. Just back in the 40s, I think that he wrote this. The words democracy, socialism, freedom, patriotic, realistic, justice have each of them several different meanings which cannot be reconciled with one another. In the case of a word like democracy, not only is there no agreed definition, but the attempt to make one is resisted from all sides. It is almost universally felt that when we call a country democratic, we are praising it. Consequently, the defenders of every kind of regime claim that it is a democracy, and fear that they might have to stop using that word if they were tied down to any one meaning. Words of this kind are used in a consciously dishonest way. That is, the person who uses them has his own private definition, but allows his hearer to think he means something quite different. And this is all about imprecise thought internally. If a person's got private definition, grunts spewing out of him, know that he's lost inside. He's from one class at a time. He doesn't use language based on science. He uses language based on emotion. And that's how it's installed inside of us. And this has been going on for a long time. We're born into a species that is broken, no fault of the living, but you've got to spot and head flag private definition words in your head. Because our bodies, picture a wild animal out on the plains. His life, or their life, depends on how precisely they think with objects. And your life does too. Because these concepts have overridden inside us. Like 2016 is a concept. Seconds, days, years, and months. Time really comes from the earth and sun. Orbiting the earth. We can point to it. There's the sun. We're on the earth. Point down. There's the ground. It goes around. But the concepts such as 2016 are great things. But right now, this is up here. We're out of class. We have no class. They're mixed up. Okay? And so what you're doing inside your own mind is you're just thinking with objects from two classes at a time, and you identify the concepts. And to start with, there's a few primary words that are in the institutionalized language that help keep us in precise thinking. Try means might. So every time you do try, you better have a good reason for saying it, because that means you might. Substitute do. take action. All right, try me till I might. Lost for imprecise thinkers. When I hear try, I just kind of cringe. And there's another one that makes me cringe even more. Belief. Man, that word comes from the book Brains. You know, liquid language is liquid on the internet. And when you hear the word belief, think terrorist alert, because belief, it turns child minds to stone. Because when we were first introduced to institutionalized language, it was in books, and so we really rigid, and they just installed. You have to think this way, A, B, C, B, blah, blah, blah. So when you spawn the belief grunt, okay, it means you do not think. You know, they do not think. Anybody who uses the belief does not think. But you could easily put think, I believe, or versus I think. That way that you're still adaptable. You know, you're learning to use language in an adaptable way where the language is secondary and the objects are primary. Okay? Because you've identified the concepts and the imprecise things. And you know, hey, you know, we're taught, our logic is shifted to language as trusting children. Okay, it's something that happened that's not going to keep happening with 2 classes at a time, because we keep the children, you know, thanks to the literacy objects, thinking with objects, and we identify the concepts. And can't means you don't know how. All right, and so you're learning. Right now, you're learning, and the more you class the language, the more you head flag. Oh my gosh! You see, when you get out of tune, you know your mind's out of tune. That's when you head flag. Like I say, I always say, the hardest thing to do is relax. Whether we're doing athletics or using alphabetic technology, you know, it's that our minds turn into clenched fists. Okay? And so when that happens, you know, you got to head flag yourself and relax. And then get back to thinking objects or concepts. What's going on here? Why are you out of tune in your mind? And so I just, you know, like, this is a lot of thinking here. And a lot came I was literally object drawing and fell into my lap. And so that's what I do, because since we're little kids, even the most religious person on earth, you know, you hear them say, "Oh God." That's installed in us. It's, you know, but so now, you know, you head flag the Lord. Instead of the G word, you could use Lord. You go, "Oh my Lord." You know, then you could sort out what's going on. What's wrong with this person? "Oh my Lord." So anyway, yeah, it's just, you know, it's so simple. All you have to do is trust yourself and tune in to objects and concepts. You know, get those private definition grunts and identify them and purge them, because they taint your nature. They taint your thinking. This is nature. You're native again with 2 classes at a time, the true scope of time and human generated time. It's not hard. You just have to class the institutionalized language in your head so that we can pass this on to the children. And so, hey, you guys got to get this message out there. Share it with everybody. I'll do anything. I don't want to go to Vatican, D.C. I could get burned at the stake, but I got to. I have no other choice. And so we've got to get the message out about this. And at gTime Johnny, I'm going to do my best to set that place up so that it's the place to go to learn to think from 2 classes at a time. So friends, I love you, and thank you for listening to this video and watching this video. I promise to do my best. I love you.